Speaking in public, it's never an easy thing. Exposing yourself to the judgmental eyes of other people, it's always damn scary. So when you get the chance to do your work or your studies or any other kind of interaction via conference calls, you kind of feel a little bit more confidence. However, many studies indicate that as the world transitions to remote working and learning, video conferencing is increasing at an exponential rate. So we are not talking about only voice calls anymore and the choice of words you use to communicate via the phone. We are now talking about body language, facial expressions, and yes, many times it's recorded on camera. And it's no walk in the park. I want to share with you today practical ideas for you to implement straight away in your daily life. I've done thousands of conference calls in the last decade with people from all over the world. Different cultures, different languages, different accents. It's fascinating how many times people's messages and choice of words do not match with their voice pitch, rhythm, tempo, expressiveness, volume. If you would like to learn more about vocal elements, you can watch the episode 1 of this series, Public Speaking Essentials. There is an important study done by Professor Albert Mehrabian, which explains when verbal and non-verbal messages are in conflict, we tend to believe the non-verbal every single time. Let me give you an example of this study. So here's my normal tone, my normal voice range, okay? Let's see if what I'm saying corresponds to what you see or what you hear. Let's start with my voice. Today, it's an exciting day for me. I'm very happy. Okay, that's my normal voice range. Let's see this next example. What do you think? Today is an exciting day for me. I'm very happy. Which one would you believe? The first example or the second example? Now, let's use body language. I'm going to add some facial expressions. And if you were watching me on camera, which one would you believe? First one. Today is an exciting day for me. I'm very happy. Now, number 2. Today is a very happy day for me. I'm very happy. Wow, what a difference. Which one would you believe? The first example or the second example? Now, you see, on the first example, it was a genuine, happy comment. There was no pacifiers or any indication on the body language or facial expressions that would show that what I was saying was a lie. Now, on the second example, I've shown the universal sign for shame. And the second, people touch their necks when they're lying. It's a classic manipulator. Now, body language always tells the truth. In our facial expressions, there are 43 muscles combined to produce around 10,000 possible expressions. It's important that you practice at home, looking at the mirror when you're talking, and pay attention to your facial expressions and your body language, because body language always tells the truth. Remember, persuading someone to agree with you, to agree with your ideas, your message, it is about the words you say. Yes, absolutely. But it's also about how you say it. If there is a conflict between what you say and how you say, you will fail to deliver your message. When it comes to speaking on video conference calls, many people ask me if there is a special training to speak and lead a call in a certain way. And the answer is yes. Leading conference calls falls under the leadership category as much as any other leadership training. One part of the training program is to learn key phrases for conference calls. and practice them so it will give you more it gives you more confidence next time you are in a conference call. You know exactly what you have to say and how you have to say it. People will expect the leader of the call to be clear, firm, diplomatic, and have a good diction and also a certain finesse. But sometimes these simple things are the most difficult things to achieve. So I've put it together 3 scenarios for you to learn and practice for the next time when you feel uncertain how to lead a conference call. So they are the opening, leading, and closing. So today we're going to start with part 1, which is opening. What are the key phrases you can use and how to lead the opening of a conference call? Are you ready to learn? So let's go. I hope you have your notebook to take some notes. Very important. Take some notes of what are these examples. They look very straightforward and simple to say, but believe me, at the beginning when you're starting, it's not that simple and straightforward, especially if you are a non-native English speaker. I remember for me at the beginning, I used to struggle a lot with just simple expressions to make me feel at ease when speaking and doing conference calls. Let's start with the opening and a few examples that I wanted to share with you today. I will walk you through these examples. Let's jump into our conference video call. Okay. For this call, I'm going to have 3 people joining: John, Maria, and Joanne. These are my guests for my call today, and I'll be interacting with them as my guests during the conference call. So you can get the examples of phrases that I will be using and referring to them. So remember, this is a video conference call. So I'm not only listening to their voice, but I'm seeing their names on the screen. Or if their camera is on, I'm seeing their image and their faces and their body language and the facial expressions. So let's get started with the first opening. I'm opening the call, so I'm entering this video call. So good morning, good afternoon. Hello everyone, my name is Patricia Curti. Good morning, good afternoon, hello. Hello John, Maria, Joanne. Thank you for joining this call. My name is Patricia Curti. Next thing you could say is, now that we are all connected, let's begin. Or, I believe we are ready to begin. Or, if you need the people to introduce themselves before you start the call, you can say, I think we are all present now. Let's get started with the round table of introductions. John, would you please introduce yourself? Or, if you need the participants to introduce themselves before you start the call, you can say, I think we are all present now. Joanne, would you like to get started and introduce yourself, please? Or you could also say, if you don't mind, we will start this call with a round table of introductions. Maria, could you please start and introduce yourself? When it comes to welcoming and introducing someone in the call, there are many phrases you could use. So let's practice some of these phrases. Please join me in welcoming Joanne. We are pleased to welcome Joanne. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to John. It's a pleasure to welcome Maria. I'd like to introduce Maria. This is John. If you'd like to introduce yourself, John. So these are just simple phrases that you can use for opening, welcoming, and introducing someone in your conference video calls. Next. Now, here are some examples for stating the objectives of your call. So let's go. Today, I'd like to make sure that we cover all the action items from our last meeting. The purpose of our meeting today is to cover the action items from our last meeting. The purpose of our meeting today is to follow up on the action items from our last meeting. I've called this meeting in order to discuss the open items from our last meeting. We are here today to discuss the open items from our last meeting. I'd like to make sure that we cover all the open items from our last meeting. The purpose of this call is to cover all the open items from our last meeting. I've called this meeting in order to cover all the open items from our last meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to cover all the open items we've got from our last call. The objective of today's meeting is to cover all the open items from our last call. So here you go. These are some key phrases that you can use anytime, and you will always look very professional and very clear. Pronounce them well and with a good voice expression, and you will succeed in your calls because people will respect and follow your lead. Now, giving apologies. Oh, this one used to drive me nuts. How to give apologies in the correct manner. How to say a few words that wouldn't compromise the other person's absence or make them look bad. Yeah, so that's not so easy to apologize for other people. Well, it's not easy to apologize for yourself, imagine for other people. So here are some examples that I wanted to share with you. Let's go. First one. I'm afraid that Joanne can't be with us today. She is on leave. Unfortunately, Maria will not be with us today because she is on leave. I have received apologies for absence from John, who is in another country. Or I have received apologies for John's absence, who is in another call. I'm afraid it looks like Maria and John are not joining us today. It seems that Joanne is not present today. I've received confirmation from Maria, John, and Joanne that they won't be with us today, but we need to continue and carry on with our meeting. So these are some basic examples. There are many other ways to apologize for someone else's absence. And the last one for today, let's get some phrases for reading minutes. How would you introduce your meeting notes from your last meeting? So let's go back to the call. So to begin with, I'd like to quickly go through the minutes of our last meeting. Or you can say, first, let's go over the report from the last meeting, which was held on the date so and so. Here are the minutes from our last meeting, which was on. Or you can say, as this is our first meeting and there are no minutes, let's go straight to the first point of the agenda. Now, a last thing to remember in any video conference call is that when you are listening, you are active, present, and people can see your face and can see your body. So make sure you pay attention to what your body is saying and your facial expressions. Because if someone is saying something and you go like doing any weird facial expression, people will pick on that and then they will ask you what's wrong. So be careful with all the facial expressions. Actually practice them at home in front of the mirror or in front of a video camera, recording. So something important for you to practice at home is to learn about your own facial micro expressions. There are 7 universal micro expressions that it doesn't matter where you come from, what's your culture, what's your background, what's your economic status, it doesn't matter. Universal facial expressions that everyone will use, and you need to know how is yours. How is your face showing these emotions? And they are happiness, sadness, fear, disgust, anger, contempt, and surprise. So practice this at home. Make sure you learn how your face is reacting for every expression and feel comfortable in using your face muscles and making sure you know exactly what you say and when you're not speaking. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you keep learning, keep curious, keep an open mind, and keep sharing this good content with everyone that you love.